we're back to the grandkids. You got three of them, three beautiful grandkids.
Yeah, all
Give us
girls.
your elevator pitch on the grandkids. Why are they the best in the world?
Oh my God, they're all different.
Right.
One of the youngest one is almost like the one that runs the house. She's
Of
the,
course.
at least
Of
in my
course.
opinion, and she reminds me a lot of my mother.
Okay.
But the other two, are athletic, and they love dance and cheer. And one of them is actually going to be on the cheer squad, and
Oh,
they're
that's
doing
awesome.
these entrepreneurial things from her mom, learning how to run business, and it's being out there and talking and asking questions and not being afraid. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's really pretty cool to see all that kind of
Yeah.
transpire into that.
So looking at your daughter, uh, how is she parenting different than you? Do you think that she picked up on stuff, or what do you think she's done? Does she credit you with anything, or
Yeah, that's a very interesting um, topic because unfortunately for her and especially for me, I wasn't a part of a good chunk of her early life,
oh,
childhood,
okay,
just based
yeah,
on that stuff, and not to get into too much detail or run anybody over
yeah,
with a bus, but
yeah,
she picked up pieces from this and from that and just developed her. She broke the chain basically of not being like what it could have been to being
yeah,
the mother she is now, and it's so impressive, because I
yeah,
would love to say I gave all that to her.
yeah,
Honestly, she picked it up somewhere else.
But
So
yeah,
it's good. I mean, obviously, you still learn from your parents, good and bad. And that's what we're put on the planet for, is to make the people coming after
yeah,
us better than we
yeah,
were.
yeah.
And I
And
see it
that's the thing,
myself.
it's interesting because you have that choice. I mean, we all have that choice. You want to do it this way, or you want to do it that way, and sometimes the pressures make you do it a certain way. And she fought it and didn't want to be like that, and
yeah,
so she made the choice to do that, and
yeah,
it's incredible,
yeah,
That takes a lot of strength too,
man.
to
Really.
change what you've seen every day. That's awesome.
yeah,
So we've heard a little bit about the struggles with your injuries, both in college and with your Long Beach Police Department tenure. What other? I know that you're pretty open to a lot of the other types of struggles because you and I have discussed it, and you put a little bit in the email. What other kind of struggles would you like to share that maybe somebody can get something from it, especially us guys that are not in our 20s anymore?
Yeah, really. I think for me personally, it's being honest with yourself and knowing when you have a problem or knowing you have an issue and addressing it. We as men, we're not good at it, and we don't talk to each other about it because of reasons. There's many: fear, and you're gonna laugh at me, and don't be a pussy, and all this kind of stuff that just is horrible for you. And so I got into, maybe 3 years ago, up until now, have discovered that I have.
we're here, brother.
That was weird. Not expecting that.
It's all
That's
right,
okay,
man.
man.
We're here for you, man.
That just means that you're getting something out you want to get out, man.
Yeah, and it's weird because I've talked about it before, but I have bone marrow cancer.
Oh man, brother. We're here for you, brother.
Give
Yeah,
me 2 seconds.
No, it's okay. You take your time, man.
yeah. And man, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you sharing this stuff. It's it's not easy hearing, much less I couldn't imagine what you've got to be doing.
But the cool thing about knowing the discovery of that, what I'm going through, is you got to talk about it, because if you don't, it will kill you even worse.
Yeah.
And the mental side of that, for men, we just don't talk. We don't get
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
But the good news is I'm beating it. I'm kicking its ass.
Good.
And so, aside from the mental side of working on that and getting through that, the pharmaceutical side is what's killing people. And
Yeah.
so I chose to do natural, herbal, mineral supplement stuff, and it's really starting to be really effective, to the fact where
Yeah.
now I grow my own plant. It's called moringa, and I capsulate it, and try to get it to people who need it as well, because it's so beneficial to me, and I know what I'm getting because I grow it. I know what I feed it, and so on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So um, it's just that process. But man, if we don't talk about stuff, we're so screwed. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that it is, I just want to say this, that it is brave. I don't think we're told enough that how brave it is and how strong it is to be vulnerable
And share.
and share. And I think that's one of the things. And you're giving a good example, because we don't cry. We were told not to. We're told not to.
No emotions.
No emotions. And dude, you got me teared up, and it's okay, dude. It's like people need to know and have examples from us, and even for the next generation coming up, that you're not expected to handle all this shit on your own, right? That
We think we do.
we do, yeah. We have it in our fucking heads that we have to handle the shit all on our own, because that's what it is to be a man and to be this. And I think it's going to take bravery on all sides to be able to share that shit. And you're given a perfect example. And I really do appreciate you, sharing that and being vulnerable for us, in that way. And I think it will open up others to do the same.
Absolutely.
And it's really, it's the point of what we were looking to do, because other than that and texting back and forth, it's very private and it's one-on-one. And others are going through those same struggles. Maybe not exactly what you are, but we're trying to all handle it the same way.
Tom, how did you know something wasn't right? Was it a feeling? Was it the way you were feeling?
Yeah, great question. I think my first thought of this really shouldn't be happening is when I was back in college and I got hurt when I was playing football, because I was lifting a lot of weight, but my bones weren't able to be as strong as normal, as a sense. And then my back went out. And then when I was in law enforcement, that's when both my shoulders blew out at different times. And then I had to have my hand surgery, and then I had a nose surgery, and then things just started to get a little weaker. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? But the telling sign for the bone marrow cancer was on my back. You hardly ever really watch your back for spots and moles and stuff like that because it's behind you. But I looked one time, I'm like, why do I have the entire right side of my back is all got a big rash? So I go to a dermatologist, and they do these scans, and they say, yeah, you got this or that, but nothing intensive. But it kept getting worse and more inflamed. And so I looked it up, and then I go into the doctor, and I'm telling him, this is what I think I might have based on this stuff. And they took a biopsy, and sure enough, it's called cutaneous mastocytosis. And so it starts from your bone marrow, and then it goes into over your period of life. And I don't know when I started. They said I could have got it when I was a kid, and it progressively got worse. And so that's when they started to really kind of look into what's happening. But the thing about that is it's more on the rarer side, and they don't have a lot of information on it, nor do they have studies. So one of the alternatives was to give me chemotherapy drugs and stuff like that. And the side effects for those drugs is so far worse than the cancer itself. It seemed like to me that why would I want to do that? I don't want to get more. So I just did my own thing. but that's how it originally started. So when they did the bone marrow extraction, and then they also took a little piece of bone to see what it was, yeah, sure as shit, that's what you got.
That had to be brutal.
Yeah, one of the tests that they do on my blood, it's called tryptase, is a part of the blood that they take. And your range, you know how you want to be in between whatever. My range of that tryptase thing was between 1 or 11. You should be in there somewhere, maybe a 9 or 6. Mine was 148. And so they were like, well, we got to do something real quick because this is like, off the chart. And so, that's what brought everything to it. The crazy thing, we were talking about this is if you don't talk about it, it will come out regardless of how hard you suppress it.
Yeah. Well, it's going to come out in stress.
And even like today, I've talked about this many times to other people before. I got it under control, but I don't know why, but it hit me like that. Right.
Yeah.
So it will. You don't have a choice. So you might as well get used to talking about it. You might as well just, try to get the help that you need. And then you go at it from that because if not, it's going to happen and you're going to be, it's not going to be fun.
It may not get any easier talking to people about it, the actual action of talking about it, but hopefully mentally it helps you a little bit. I know it's going to help me. Just hearing you say that. I mean, you and I, you've told me, we have not gotten into the weeds on it. The second you told me that you had it under control literally felt like a weight off my heart. I'm like, okay, Tom's got this.
Yeah.
And that's the scary thing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a world where pharmaceutical is running everything, and not to go into politics or any of that crap, but it's scary, man. I mean, the thing that all of us, and this goes for later generations, probably more than us, is we've been taught that, okay, your doctor's there for you to make you feel better, and they're going to give you stuff that's going to make you feel better. When reality, no, it hasn't been that way for a long time. Most doctors, I don't want to condemn an entire practice, because I personally have found a great one that I love to death, a young lady. She's freaking fantastic, but not everybody does. And my take on this is go to somebody if you don't feel like if you feel like you're getting sold something, you're getting sold something. If they're trying to push drugs on you constantly for every single thing and not really listening to you, you're with the wrong person. And the thing that I found, how I found her is I had gout real bad. I knew I had gout because I'd talked to other people. I never got it diagnosed because I never go to the doctor. And so I started drinking. When I had really bad flare-ups, I'd drink pure cherry juice, which makes you sick as hell when you drink like quarts and quarts of it.
Right.
But it fixed it, So I did that for years, and finally I got to bad. I had to get a real doctor, and she laughed at me. And the first day I was in there, we spent an hour in her office talking, literally her getting to know. And obviously I'm old, I'm 57 years old, so I've had a lot of other issues come up and problems, and having somebody to talk to, number one. Number two, when we sat down and her and I talk, she offers options. Hey, this is what you're probably going to see. These are the options that you can do. It's not like, okay, this is what you need to take. As soon as she started offering me options, I knew, okay, this is the person that I've probably needed in my life, my whole life, but there's not very many of them out there. And I know there's a lot of people have had a lot worse situation, but
I want to invite you back already, and I want to have a deeper conversation about this, because there's a stat that's out there, and I work at I've been in the healthcare education industry since 2009. And I work at colleges of nursing, and there's a 1999 article called To Err is Human. And I've gone to conferences all over the world with nurses and doctors, and the horror stories of the close calls and the what I think the average person would look at as malpractice is commonplace. And if you've never gone it, and for the audience, if you've never read it or you've never been out there and seen it, To Err is Human, it's an article, it's available online anywhere. And then there's a film that's on it. And this is what's going to blow you away. And I do want to have a follow up, and I want to grab people like you and others. The medical industry, it came out, I think it was about 8 years ago, and there was a change to the number, you know how they categorize the number one causes of death. It's heart disease and so you go down those lists. The third leading cause of death now, if you go and look at it, is listed as error. Okay. But when it first came out, it was medical error. And they changed it to reflect error. Right. And it was like this, it's like one of those sleight of hands that they did initially. Because when it first came out, it was third leading cause of death is medical error. Preventable, and it's not just medical error, preventable medical error. Okay. And in 1999, right, they found, and this is a limited study, there was up to 99,000 deaths a year can be attributed to preventable medical error. And that's deaths. That's not, I left a device in someone's body. That's not that they had a negative impact, that they lost an arm or a limb, or they had some other negative impact on their lives over this period of time. That was just deaths, and it's increased. And if you think about it, and this is what really throws me off at the time, was that's equivalent to what did they say? It's 1 to 2 airplanes full of DC jets, like big jumbo jets, going down a week over an entire year. I mean, and they don't highlight it. And the other things that they don't do, because I've done, I'm a practical guy. So when we get in these roundtables and we talk about it, I go, why isn't there a grading system on every hospital that says this is a grade A, this is a C, this, like, we do it for our food
because you might pass it
right
on your way.
We do, yeah, and like, but we all know they exist. Like in our neighborhoods, we know, well, that's a really crappy hospital. I would not go there, right? Because of, here and there, but no one really talks about it. And those are all just data, and no one can deny it. And when the COVID thing came out. So anyways, that's my short little side view, but I would love to hear your story and put it in that context.
And to spin that a little bit on a more positive note, Tom, how did you get to the point where you knew that, okay, I'm not going down the rabbit hole with taking all this crap and going through the cancer freaking fighters in there, sucking every dollar dry from everybody I know. And how'd you know that?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what? I'm just going to do it my way, and I'm going to.
Got to be your own advocate.
Yeah.
How did you decide to become your own advocate and start doing this on your own?
Well, when I was in the office and they first told me that it was cancerous, everything is just taken out of you. And so you go home and you regroup and you think, holy shit, I'm going to die. And then, well, wait, that's so drastic. And you just found out and you're still here. I mean, the whole kind of role playing you do within yourself. And then I've never really been a quitter. I've always tried to find a way to figure something out. And I've always believed that there's a challenge, there's got to be an answer. And the one answer that is never, ever, ever acceptable is suicide, ever.
Yeah.
So if you don't reach out and if you don't do it within yourself, you gotta figure it out, because I want to be here. There's still many things more to do and find a solution. So that's just doing the research. I've already been kind of on the supplemental, natural kind of thing. I never did steroids or any of that kind of stuff anyways, but so I got into learning what could help, what you might be deficient in. We're all deficient in so many different things just based on what we eat and drink and breathe. So it's combating that, and it's a lot of work. You got to, a lot of work, but
Yeah.
you got the time to do it, and it's important. And so that was my thing: is don't quit. Just try and figure it out. Talk to experts. Do some research. Put things together. What's working for some people. Now, keep in mind, there's so much shit out there on the market that is not what it says it is. It's just bogus bullshit.
Yeah.
And so you got to weed through that stuff too.
So
And some of that is expensive, but
do you, I go twice a year to have blood drawn, and like I said, I've got a great doctor, so she helps me. Do you have your blood drawn regularly and look at your levels and kind of know what you need to adjust from there? That's what's helped me. I think I'm in better shape now than I was, 20 years ago from looking at my blood. And I fast 4 days a week, where I don't eat for 24 hours, and then I'll eat, and then I'll do, one meal a day thing.
Very, very good.
The only I do it because I have no ability to say no to things, and so I want dessert every time. So and I want to go and I want to have drinks and I want to do this. So the only way I know how to treat myself is no, you can't have anything. I'm like a 5-year-old.
And that's honestly, that's really helped me too, because I've done 2 different 5-day water fasts where it's just been pure water. That's definitely helped. The supplements obviously help too, but it's biblical, and our planet has everything we need to survive and live on if we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that fasting is so important, just to recalibrate our bodies and let it do what it wants to do. It's just bogged down by so much of that shit we eat. Whether we like it or, it's in there or not, it's in there,
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's
cool.
Yeah, no, fasting is not delving too deeply into the religious side of things, but yes, fasting is called for quite often. And Lent, the whole season of Lent, and doing that kind of stuff. So
Tom, we're kind of already on there because you're kicking cancer's ass. So what, and we know your pride in your grandkids. What other things that, if you're proud to tell people that, that have been wins in your world, that things that you've done, things that you've had happen.
Overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm still challenged with the real bad back issue, and I'm probably going to have surgery on that, hopefully sometime soon, to relieve, because I get these cramps and stuff. Anyways, it's not good, but just getting through these 2 things is kind of a milestone for me, because it's been a journey. It's been pretty tough, but the light at the end of the tunnel is you keep fighting and you see improvements and you build on that, as opposed to poor me's. And I have really good pity parties, and nobody else is invited. It's just me, myself, and I. And so, but there are times that I suck people in to give me some sympathy or whatever. Me, I got a laser machine, and it engraves and scores and cuts woodwork. So I love doing that for people. Makes your images or things cut out on the wall and posters. All kinds.
Is that what you're doing now?
That's one. Yeah, the supplemental with Moringa, and we have a t-shirt company, and just trying to get and being busy as much as you can, and staying away from the negative side, and just trying to be optimistic and positive is kind of the direction I like to go in.
Okay. Yeah, we're here to support you, man. And so you should probably send us some of what you're doing as far as your business and these things that you're doing to help other people. And we would love to promote it and say, hey, when you got this as a resource, you got Tom over here.
Yeah.
Get it done.
And I know you've had gum wraps for quite a while.
Yeah, I still do that as well. And I like networking. If I can help that business and they can help my business, perfect. It's kind of a bartering system.
Yeah.
I'm not in it for being the rich and famous dude. I'm just a dude.
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
like helping, and if I can help them, they can help me, and if we all can do this together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're trying to do here. This is about our community. This is about, and we want to expand it. We want to have other high schools. You start hearing that it's not just people that it's people that are out there in the world, and it's something that's common. So we really want to support everybody that we can. And we're all at that age that we're trying to give back a little bit to everything, right? We've kind of all achieved
Yeah, that's
some
great.
modicum of success, and why not? Let's just get out there and support each other in a different way.
And part of my bouncing around the country, I've got some people that are following us that I met in Vegas. When I lived in Vegas, I lived in Vegas from 93, I think, until 2009, 2010, when I moved out here to Tennessee. So I think, I've got people from both of those sections on here as well, and I think as they see what we're doing here, and yes, we're talking to friends from Rubidoux, and for me and Tom going back as far as Troth Street Elementary School, in the fourth grade. But I mean, we do want to get this to the point where people can share, because like James was saying, this is about generation and being able to help other generations too. Realize that the shit that goes on in our heads is not only us. A lot of us are
sometimes
having these
unsafe.
psychotic.
Getting
Yeah.
in your head is
Yeah.
unsafe sometimes. I'm just
Yeah.
going to say that out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to think somebody, you play with them, you grow up with them and all that stuff, but you really don't know what's going on inside their head and which way they, super strong and confident or super immature and insecure. And, you just don't know.
You don't know.
Just only based on actions and stuff. So learning this kind of stuff is so raw, and it's like, oh, I can relate to that guy. I know that he is, and I can, we didn't know before.
Yeah.
I never knew.
Yeah. 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 And I find it funny because, I mean, Todd and I have both, are you still doing the gum wrappers? Oh yeah.
That's from Deshaun.
That's from Deshaun Burns. He asked, are you still doing the gum wrappers?
Yeah. Dico, yes, man, I am.
Yes, he's doing it. Where in Tennessee are we? Okay, so Todd's in Chapel Hill. I'm in Alabama. I'm in Huntsville, Alabama.
So I'm about 50 minutes dead south of downtown
Nashville.
Broadway, Nashville.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
And I lived here for a little bit. My kids all live here. So two of my kids live not even 10 minutes from Todd. And then my other one lives in Arkansas, and I'm working at a university in Huntsville, Alabama. So that's kind of I am about an hour and 25 minutes to get over here. I left at about 5 this morning to get over here, knowing that we had to do the old man setting up technology thing. So we got it figured out.
I might be moving to Missouri.
Oh, Missouri.
Yeah,
I was in St. Louis for a little bit. Whereabouts in Missouri are you thinking?
It's still up for kind of grabs. I have a friend that lives in the Ozarks.
Okay.
Another like Van Zant area. I don't know if you know.
Okay.
More.
Yeah. I lived right outside of I was at the University of Missouri St. Louis. So I was right downtown and all the and it does bring something up. What I find, and I'm interested because I know that we're not a monolith as far as the Gen X goes. I don't want to get too deep into the politics because I've done that on Facebook. I've gone into all of that stuff, and there's some strong opinions both ways. But I do want to have this conversation with, like, I would love to have some of the people that disagree, like where we don't have the same, and show that we can have, like, show them how Gen X can have these conversations. But I do find it odd and strange, because a number of us grew up without ever sharing our political views in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one really ever discussed it. I think the one time that I knew that I had a really conservative thinking faculty member was Mr. Warner in one of the government classes, because he brought up the welfare thing. They're paying young kids to have children, and he had a very strong opinion that way. But that was the only inkling of someone that had a conservative
I
leaning.
don't even remember Tom and I have known each other since the fourth grade. I don't
Yeah.
think we've ever had a
Not once.
Yeah, not once, but we've grown
once.
up, and it's funny because we have a lot of similar, and honestly, once you start having conversation with people and you realize, oh, you know what, we're not really that far off. Get past the heated rhetoric and just
Yeah.
listen to each other. That's the kind of conversation I would love. Just a quick note. Deshaun said, "Sweet, I was in Leapers Fork. Great seeing you all doing well. Love you, fellas. This is great to see you, folks." So just a message from Todd and from the folks from the dough. Yeah, and we're looking at trying to get him on. We've had a conversation with him. We have about, I think that right now there's about 15 people that have reached out. We're going to have another conversation this afternoon.
And Tom's our first.
He's our inaugural.
That's my prize.
Yeah, and it's not done. I'm just like hitting some points, but I would love to have those. We want to have other people on. So, what was the strongest? You don't have to go into details about your politics, but what's been your strongest influences, and how did that develop over these years? Because I know that we kind of align on some things, but what were the greatest influences? Even though we, in high school, we were never really all that political at all.
Yeah. We had too many other things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think just being raised by the coaches that, instilled their positive value and outlook and always trying to do better on top of my just faith was more of the right thing and the wrong thing. And to me, I would think common sense was for everybody, but apparently a lot of people can't afford common sense because they just they missed it. It doesn't make sense to me. But
yeah,
I've been grounded in that, and always trying to help somebody. I don't care what color you are. That's the stupidest freaking thing in the world. If you need help, I'll help you.
Yeah, we grew up in a very diverse high school.
Yeah.
Our whole area. I mean, you name the nationality, and I had 3 or 4 friends.
Yeah. I mean, we had no choice. We played with all kinds of races in sports.
Yeah.
You go to a school that's all kinds of races. Now you look at the family and how they're raised. That's on them, right? I mean, we all have our horror stories and challenges and shit. We just made it work. But I've always been grounded in God and faith and doing the right thing. But I've always wanted to try and be open-minded. I want to understand your point of view.
Yeah.
It might resonate with my point of view, and if not, then we go our ways. But we could find some commonality.
Yeah.
It's not a for sure you're right and I'm wrong, and vice versa. There's always two sides.
Yeah. It's not always black and white. So just a couple of messages I want to reach out. Kurt Pyson says, "Great seeing you guys on here. Hope you are at the homecoming game." So that brings up a note that right now they're and I think it's on the Rubidoux alumni site. They're talking about forming a alumni game homecoming where we can come in and support, and also trying to do a scholarship.
And since Tom was in law enforcement, maybe he can check and make sure I don't have any outstanding warrants before I come back to the state of California.
You got 2. Sorry.
Yeah, Deshaun said he made a good point. He goes, in school, there really wasn't room for politics. We just moved along,
right.
settled beefs if there was any, and then we were supposed to, So, we really, hey, hello, 100%. Mary Ann, how are you? Yeah.
But Deshaun, we all looked up to your dad. We all appreciate it. And the older we get, the more we realize.
Well, there's a lot of wisdom that he
much he shared.
That select group of coaching staff was incredible. Incredible.
I can't think of Knowles Field, which I played on and I even coached the little guys later in life on without hearing Coach Burns on the opposite end of the field screaming. And it was always it was something we look forward to, man. I mean, that meant football was back. And, Coach Burns and I never played under them because I was 2 years up from my little brother. And you know, Kurt's dad, Joe, Big Joe,
Yeah,
and Art Huerta.
yeah.
I mean, those guys were just bigger than life.
Yep.
And as good a people as they were, I'm hoping they're looking down and seeing some of us that they didn't coach, that their way of life and their love for their families and their love for their community has made us all better people.
Yeah,